Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today is the last Friday of the year and I just wanted to say thank you to all the people who have watched my videos throughout the year and who are watching now, especially as we sit down to watch the Viper playing as the Incas in yellow take on Hera playing as the Bengalis in blue. Now while the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings, possibly missing a little bit of their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup we will be watching today. Now, the Incas are the quintessential counter-civilization. To counter cavalry, you can rely on your unique unit, the Kamayuk, a ranged infantry unit that carries a very, very long spear and does come with a massive bonus against cavalry of all kinds. Is your opponent going infantry? Then you can counter them with your other unique unit, the Slinger, an archer unit that comes with a big attack bonus against infantry and which can be upgraded to get a small attack boost +1. Now, if your opponent is going archers, the Incas can rely on their skirmishers, which not only get all archery range, blacksmith, and university upgrades, but can also be upgraded to have no minimum range at all, which does take away one of their biggest weaknesses. Now, to make their army last longer on the battlefield, the Incas can actually upgrade their Kamayuks, their slingers, and their eagle warriors to get extra melee and pierce armor. Now, to help the Incas build and support their military industrial complex, they do get a few cool economic features. To start with, their military units cost less and less food as the game goes on, all the way from 10% cheaper in Dark Age to 25% cheaper in Imperial. They do start the game with an extra llama, which may not sound like much, but does give you an extra unit to explore the map with, in addition to also providing you with 100 extra food for free. Now, their buildings cost 15% less stone. Their houses support 10 population instead of the usual 5, which does free up wood in the earlier precious moments of the game. And their villagers are harder to raid because starting in Castle Age, they do benefit from infantry blacksmith upgrades. And BT dubs, the Incas get all infantry blacksmith upgrades. Now, pivoting our eye to the south of the map where Hera is playing as the Bengalis, an elephant civilization through and through. All of their elephants get less bonus damage, are more resistant to conversion, and can be upgraded to attack 20% faster, which does sound amazing and is amazing when you consider the fact that they get fully upgraded battle elephants, siege elephants, and their elephant archers also benefit from Parthian tactics. Now, in addition to that, all Bengali melee cavalry do come with a small attack bonus against skirmishers, which does make feudal defense a little bit easier, potentially, depending on what your opponent goes for. Now, in order to support these slow, easily converted units on the battlefield, the Bengali monks do come with a huge armor boost, and their unique unit, the Ratha, is one of the most versatile units in the game, being a chariot unit that can switch between ranged attack and melee attack with trample damage. That is a recent addition, the trample damage part. Now, in order to support the Bengali army, every town center does spawn 2 villagers for free whenever they reach the next age. We'll keep an eye out whenever Hera decides to click up to Feudal Age and see when he finishes 2 fresh villagers should pop out of this town center. And their entire villager and monk population can be upgraded to take 10% less population space by making each and every one of these villagers take up 0.9 population room instead of the usual 1. And you can let your imagination run crazy in terms of what you can do with all that extra, I was going to say villager space, but you could train military as well. A super cool feature is the Mahayana. By the way, both players sitting at 18 villagers, both players just completed Loom, both players heading up to Feudal Age at basically the exact same moment. Holy moly. Good time for us to zoom out a little bit, take a look at the map, which if you've been looking at the mini map in recent seconds or minutes since this video began, you'll notice one very, very crucial thing. These bases are completely open. I mean, there's wood lines. The wood lines are kind of nearby, but I mean, look at this entire just giant open space. Now, neither player here has a very mobile civilization, not exactly the Cumans or the Magyars over here, but in any event, let's take a look where their resources are and try to see if we can figure out what the hell is actually going on in this map. Hera, primary gold, very exposed in the front. Primary stone a little bit off to the side. Then he's got a little bit extra gold and stone in the rear positions. And where's his additional gold? Unknowingly placed on a hill to the top left of his settlement. Looks like he's got 3 small forests in a bit of an isosceles triangle shape. Although the back completely open, as we saw, the front completely open. An ugly, ugly open base spawn. We'll see actually how the players, this might be a good instructional video in terms of how the pro players decide to wall off bases that are completely open. Oh, I missed it. Where did the two villagers go? Oh, stupid, stupid caster. In any event, let's take a look at the Vipers. I'll try to catch it in Castle Age. I promise. Oh, the Viper's gold nice and safe in the back. The Viper's primary stone also nice and safe in the back. Looks like he's got additional gold very nearby to the left side and additional stone in the forward position. So the Viper really doesn't have very forward-facing resources. Most of them are off to the side or to the back, which is amazing. And unlike Hera, who has 3 small forests, he's got what look like 2 medium forests, or maybe 1 small and 1 medium. And look at his base. North, open. West, open. South, open. East, kind of open. Okay, Spearman. Spearman says an F you to this one ostrich, pokes it in the ass. It does not die, which just goes to show you how weak Spearmen actually are against anything they're not meant to counter. And out come 2 Eagle Scouts as they poke and prod away at regular, normal horse scouts. I think you can click on both of these cacti. Very interesting. The Viper a little bit too slow to wall this off. Is this going to be the first kill of the game? No, it's not, because Hera knows there is a Spearman on his ass. And so he moves at 11-minute mark of the game is when we have our first glitch. Always, somehow in the 10 to 11-minute mark of the game. Okay, the Viper's trying to push into here. Hera's trying to push into here. First kill of the game goes to the Viper Spearman as he pokes and prods once too many times and Hera's scout bites the dust. And now it looks like these Eagles are going to do a good job pulling in the villagers to the archer. Now, if you had a few more archers, I would be very worried for these villagers. But with 1 archer only, you know, you have something called range, 4 range. Not too sure why you're standing 1 tile away from these units. Although maybe doesn't want the lack of ballistics to impact anything. Hera's army is back here. Looks like he did even up the kill count, and now he is ahead in the kill count. As the Eagles swarm the scouts. We've got a battle of scouts here. 1 Eagle does fall. 1 second Eagle falls. I thought he was going to get the scout. I mean, look at the HP on this guy. 1 HP. The Viper's archer doing whatever he can, but he also bites the dust. Hera taking a pretty good fight here, even though he survives. I mean, I'm going to assume we're going to see this 1 HP scout on relic duty any minute now. Okay, a fresh scout does join in. Spearman is at full health. I mean, this 1 Spearman could probably wreck all 3 of these cavalry, depending on who he attacks first. Oh, the poke from the Viper against the wrong scout. The archers also attack the wrong scout. And so now Hera's got a scout with 1 HP, a scout with 5 HP, and deletes his own palisade so he can get his ass back into this base and defend against us. Now, Skirmisher probably not going to do too much against this Eagle Scout, but while he's focused on the Skirmisher, the scouts from Hera do punish him with a few pokes and prods. The one with the 5 HP dies to the north. The one with 1 HP survives. Send him to the other side of the map. Let's take a look at Hera's vision. Yeah, this is a peak Hera moment right now where he can just send this very, very damaged scout out to explore the map. I mean, he knows the Viper can see that this unit has 1 HP. One thing pro players do like to do and like to tell everyone to do, which is a pretty smart thing to do, is always take a look at your opponent's units. Number 1, to know what kind of upgrades they have. That will tell you 2 things. And the upgrades and the HP is very important. Now, the HP, obviously, you need to know which unit to attack if you can, potentially, if you have the micro, if you have the luxury to do so, to attack. Obviously, I sound like my cousin who's always saying obviously to me, with 1 HP, but the upgrades are important for 2 reasons. Number 1, it tells you whether to take an engagement or not. You know, if your units are upgraded 0-0, or you see an archer with 4+1 range, and you're trying to save some villagers, very important to know that he's got an extra tile of range. So it tells you whether to take an engagement, where to take an engagement, but more importantly, actually as importantly, it also tells you if your opponent is doubling down on that unit or unit category, because at this stage of the game in Feudal Age, upgrades are not cheap. especially when you don't have the villager population to support it, especially when the Viper picks off 2 of your villagers, and you are now down 3 villagers is Hera. Glad we caught that on camera, as there is another Incan incursion here to the left side of the base. The Viper absconds with his archers. So always information good to have. This is ultimately a game of economics and a war game. And in both of those, information is king. 8 kills apiece. It looks like Hera wants to try to sandwich a few of these units, cut them off from being able to head home. You are not making it home, he says. Is his 1 HP scout still here? Yes, it is, as the vulture slowly makes his way over. He's heading to the wrong direction. I suspect we're going to see a bunch of dead bodies over here right now. Oh, Hera spreads them wide. In come his skirmishers, but they are facing off against eagles. I'm sure they probably wish they were here facing off against archers. And the scout with 1 HP does finally die. What is Hera doing? He's parading his units a little bit. Does finally kill the last archer, but now the 2 survivors from the eastern front have made it into the base. Try to get a few shots off at these villagers and failed miserably. So Hera does lead in the kill count right now. He's going to have 15 to 10. But the Viper did manage to kill 2 villagers. So Hera, who lost 2 villagers, is now 2 villagers ahead. 3 villagers ahead. Even though his idle time on his TC is double that of the Viper. And the Viper 35 seconds away from Castle Age. And I'm going to definitely do my best to try to catch this town center once Hera hits Castle Age in 2 minutes, so we can see where those 2 villagers go. Hera's army kind of just hanging out in front of his base. I'm surprised he's not being more active. Okay, right, of course, as I say that, he heads out. And let's see what the Viper does now that he's in Castle Age. Immediately a monastery, immediately a wall off. He's got... What am I missing here? He's got 45 population out of a total of 105. How many houses has the Viper been building? And what the hell is he planning to do with 60 population space at the moment? I believe that is the last scout of our Bengali. A minute away from castle he is. Okay, yeah, he says, forget the palisade. I'm just going to build a whole bunch of houses. And remember, he doesn't need to build as many houses because the Mayan, oh my goodness, the Incan houses do come with 10 population space. I don't know if that necessarily explained why he had 45 more population room than his opponent. In any event, it is what it is. The Viper's got plenty of room to maneuver. 7 seconds away, 4 seconds away. Where are the 2 villagers going to pop out? They go immediately to jack some lumber with their axes here as Hera pushes away yet another attempt by the Viper. Or maybe the Viper is the one pushing away Hera's attempt here. Viper is trying to bust his way, break down this house. Villager is repairing the wrong house. Maybe he's betting that Hera won't notice. There's also an eagle over here. A 3rd town center for our Inca. I like this location. Nice and secure. So the Viper using town centers as part of his wall off. And let's take a quick peek at Hera's settlement. So Hera's kind of carved himself a small little nook here. Okay, this is a nice castle. This is a fantastically placed castle. Protects the stone. And that's not stone, that's gold. Protects the stone, protects the lumber as much as it possibly can, especially against the eagles. If he can keep this wall up for the duration of the construction here, he will be in good shape. But the Viper, does he see? Yeah, he saw the castle going up, so just immediately pivots. Oh, the inherent weakness of structural defense. It is so powerful, so strong, but ultimately it is static and does not move. 2 villagers move forward here. These are still Eagle scouts, but remember, they're in castle now, which means they come with a whole bunch of bonuses. Most notably cavalry and camel. Not that I'm expecting to see camel out of Bengali, but oh man, 4 rathas. So Hera is going to play some rathas with us. Let's see them in melee mode. Let's see their... I think it's half a tile. Okay, this one is in melee mode. Finally, yeah. Area of effect range 0.5, and they do 20% damage in that blast radius, for lack of a better word. The Viper being so annoying and tenacious, trying to bust his way in through the southeast, trying to bust his way into the northwest. two Rathas do take on Eagles, but man, the Eagles basically have bonuses against all of these armor classes. I guess just cavalry. Never mind. +2 against cavalry. The developers did recently add extra armor. I believe the cavalry archer of 1 there that you see is a recent addition, although I don't know if that necessarily solves the problem that the Rathas have, especially since it's not really the amount of armor that they have, it's the fact that they have 3 different classes of armor and therefore take bonus damage from almost every unit in the game, which is ridiculous. Every counter unit in the game. Market being placed down for our Bengali here at the 26-minute mark of the game. He is heading north with these Rathas. They got 5 kills. There's 5 of them in total. Where are the Viper's Eagles going? They discover a relic. He did have that monastery up light years ahead of his opponent, which shows because he's got 3 relics already to the 0 of his opponent. I don't even know if Hera has a monastery. I'm going to try to zoom out. I don't see a monastery. Okay, so he's not contesting relics at all. Now, luckily for him, the Viper's relics, all 3 of them are located in the blood-soaked stones right at the forward position of his base. But oh, right as I open my big yang, an immediate castle does get plopped down to defend that monastery, and the Rathas are not going to be able to engage into that castle. No way, no how. A 3rd town center going up for our Bengali, who now moves in. But this is the beauty, the versatility of this unit. If you can't bust in here with melee, you definitely have the option to go range. But Hera a little bit confused. Hera a little bit slow to react there. It means that this monk could have potentially done so much damage. Now remember, the resistance that the Bengalis get against conversion applies to their elephants, not really to the Rathas, which is shown here. He's already lost the Ratha. The Eagles are pushing this away as the Viper collects his 4th relic. And there's a very slow yellow dot moving across the map. Oh my goodness, is the Viper gonna have all 5 relics? This Ratha confused, doesn't know how to exit the base. It's over here to the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to see the longest stick in the game as a Kameyuk is going to pop out. Look at that amazing tussled spear. Okay. And this is, again, just the beauty. I mean, I think he can attack these villagers, no? Yeah, okay, here we go. Just the absolute versatility of this unit. You can move in, and even if your opponent creates a wall-off, doesn't really matter that much. Wall-offs are great against melee, against ranged units. Although, I say ranged unit, he really only has 2 upgrades on these, +1 attack and range and armor. And the Eagles look like they're about to absolutely smush these units into this corner here, into this nook. There are 6 Kameyuks en route, 12 Eagles, 1.2 movement speed to 1.43. So the Rathas don't really need to engage here if they don't want to. Oh, where are these Kameyuks going? Where are these villagers going? I was looking at the Viper's stone count. He's still 150 stone shy of castle dropping. Oh, never mind. He bought 100 stone. And here we go. The Eagles engage into the Rathas. The Rathas are going to have a pretty good time here, but honestly, Eagles are a pretty tanky unit. Not yet. Not when they're just in scout mode. If those were warriors, they would have probably fared a bit better. And the I was gonna say Pokemon, but because I my brain wanted to say poking, but no, the Pokemon unit here to the south does manage to get another Ratha as the traitor Ratha dies here. And now Hera gets shooed away by the presence of 2 monks. Does he need to worry? 11 units? Yeah, that's... Oh, the Viper. Okay, does manage to get 1 conversion. Was that all a trap? Is he going to try to block in these Rathas? Where are the villagers? Nowhere close. I mean, my goodness. I don't know why I thought that was the Viper's castle. Like I said, it's Friday, but oh man, the Viper just absolutely... I think he tried to... oh no. I think he tried to trap Hera's Rathas there with the... or entice them with the monk. Since he has all 5 relics, at this point, the monks are pretty much there to convert and die. And or die. Oh no. Oh no. Wow. I was about to say Hera's castle is discovered, especially from, I guess, 2 angles. The first one is the Viper seeing all the villagers move out. The second is just the vision from his structures here. But I'm looking at the minimap. All of a sudden, there are multiple fronts here that the Viper is aggressing on. And holy moly, I have two questions for the viewership, dear audience. But first, let's see what's actually going on here. Again, I don't know why I'm fixated on this fight. I suspect this was all one big feint or trap. Maybe not a trap per se, but he baited him, I believe, so that the Viper, I should say the Viper baited Hera so that he could get his villagers to start plopping down this other castle. Because, I mean, look at this castle here on the left nullified this town center. This castle here about to nullify the forward position of our Bengali. And that basically leaves the right side of the Bengalis base, which, as you can see, is not very full of many things here. Not that he's really going many things. He's pretty much going full on meme build here with the Rathas, and I am here for it. But an absolute fantastic catch here out of the Viper with this occurrence in the center. And that's kind of my question. Okay, so first question to the audience before we dive into the numbers. The battle that took place here. Let's rewind real quick because I think it was like a minute ago. This battle, was this all a feint? Was this all the Viper keeping Hera's army focused over here while he then not only completed this lumber camp, this mining camp, that's not a lumber camp, but it kind of looked like these were reinforcing up north, but now they're moving south. So now I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe you guys know sometimes I imagine fanciful scenarios that may or may not exist in the minds of the players themselves. But to me, this kind of smells like a feint, like chum in the water, a bit of bait with these two monks. He gets two conversions. So now all of a sudden, 11 Rathas have become 9, and 5 Kameyuks have become 7 army supplies. So 11 to 5 is a 6 army difference, and now it's a 2 army difference, which is with 2 conversions, you get a 4 unit swing. And all of a sudden, the battle seems a little bit more friendly to our Incan, who, by the way, will be able to get a few shots off at this army because the Bengali army is busy attacking the monks. And that's why it smells, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, to me, it looks and walks and smells and feels like a bit of a trap here by the Viper. So let me know, number one, that's my question. Or am I overthinking this? Which I'm very much open to the possibility. And number two, what happens later on here with the Viper absolutely discovering this push out by Hera with no fewer, I mean, there's a bunch of dead villagers, but let's see how many there were before any of them died. So these ones are moving out. These ones are moving out. Are you kidding me? 23 villagers are heading out. I don't think there's any villagers here that are, no, these are all coming. These are all coming. 2 of them immediately die. So actually it was 25 villagers. Is the discovery of this by the Viper? You have 2 options and let me know which one you think it is. Is it sheer dumb luck that he just managed to have a few Kameyuks, maybe this monk with this crazy monk vision on him? Or was it a game sense, the Viper knowing that when Hera is attacked, sometimes what Hera likes to do is push right back out and push against his opponent. And when he doesn't have Hussars, I guess the next best thing is the Rathas that he's building. But the Viper intercepts this entire move out. Absolutely guts. By the time they reach, how many villagers are left from 23? 10! 10 are left from 23. And that is perhaps one of the most dangerous map crossings we have seen. And those 10 are definitely going to die. Now, the question is, why didn't Hera go a little bit off the beaten path here? Perhaps a castle in a different location as opposed to a full frontal, knowing that his opponent is already out on the map. But those are my 2 questions to you. Number one, was this a trap or a feint by the Viper to distract from what he was trying to do over here? And number 2, the catch of the villagers and the Rathas, is that sheer dumb luck or was that game sense out of the Viper, or perhaps a combination of the 2? Now, the Rathas, as we saw with the bigger HP, I mean, 55 more HP than the Kameyuk, could have done a better job defending this if it got into a death ball status, like 10, 11, 15 of them clumped. But when they were fighting individually, one over here. It looks like one dead over here, one or two dead over here, one or two dead over here. Against the Kameyuks, if they can surround you, they will kill you much, much quicker if they're fighting, picking off stragglers one at a time. So unfortunately for Hera, he just gets absolutely discovered here as he pushes out again. I wonder if he should have gone up the side. Definitely couldn't go up the left side knowing that the Viper has a castle here, unless he wanted to go sneaky. But Hera, in a bit of a uncharacteristic move, hasn't even explored the backwards position of his own base, hasn't even discovered the gold that's over here, in addition to the two zebras and the ostrich, the Hakuna Matata community that is developing over here. And the Viper, once he sees that there's a move out here, just pumps the gas. He's got Kameyuks pumping out of two castles. He places a third castle, knowing that the majority of his opponents, if not the entirety of his opponent's military forces over here, so he's going to have zero ability to defend against the castle drop over here. Now, he could have pushed it maybe a tile or two forward so that it got this town center, but not one to criticize at all. But wow, not the longest game, but man, oh man, some fun moves out of both players. Let's take a look at the numbers. 27 Eagles. I'm surprised the Viper didn't upgrade these to warriors. It's not an expensive upgrade. I get it that he's going Kameyuks and monks, but I mean, the Eagles were pretty active for the first half of the game. Wrath has 21. I love the use of this unit. Remember, in melee mode, it does come now with a half tile radius where it does 20% damage, so about 2 damage to anything within a half tile radius. And then peak APM for the Viper, middle of the game. Peak APM for Hera, oh, look at that, about 100 APM more per minute. That sentence didn't make sense, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Also, in the middle of the game, I guess this was that big double surround of Hera's base, microing on two sides. Economy, I can't see them being too massive at this point, but yeah, all 5 relics. Maybe this is also a contributing factor to why Hera GG'd, because he realized perhaps that his opponent had taken all the relics and he didn't see, number one, didn't have map vision to see relics, and number 2, didn't have any monks, question mark. Okay, he had 1 monk. Where was he? Okay. All right, making his way to the battlefield, making his way to certain death, and he is choosing to convert a Kameyuk, which tells you Hera here with a Ratha target that he can convert, choosing instead to convert a Kameyuk, tells you what he thinks about which of these 2 units is the better one for him to convert. But it looks like wood and stone going to our Bengali, food and gold. Here's your Kameyuks right here going to our Inca. Conversions, 0 conversions for Hera. Obviously I don't think he had a single monk out on the map except for that last one that we just saw. 4 conversions out of 42. That's about 10% of the Bengali army. That's not a bad conversion statistics. I mean, 4 is not a huge number. The game is, like I said, relatively short, but 10% of your army to give away to your opponent is a big, big deal. Kill count, holy moly, look at that. Kill count, 21 villagers killed by the Viper, 1 villager killed by our Bengali. 55 to 52 kills just tells us that these Radas were able to kill more military units, but I guess it's that eagle slaughter that happened here earlier in the game, but it is the Viper with the total better kill count, and with that better kill count, and with the last Friday of the new year, I want to give a big thank you before I log off, before we end this cast, to everyone who's watched the videos. Hit that like button. Anyone who's commented anything positive, constructive, even something negative. I'm not the biggest fan of negative comments. I mean, who the hell is? But the positive, the constructive comments, I really do appreciate the advice. I mean, I am relatively new to the whole Age of Empires YouTube scene, and stay tuned in 2024. Given how well the channel is doing, I think I'm going to keep doing it. And not only that, I think I'm going to grow it and expand it. So keep an eye out for bigger and better things. I mean, I guess every YouTuber kind of says, oh, I'm going to go bigger and better in the next year. But I actually have some pretty concrete plans. Everything is laid out. I'm one of these people that I don't really make a move until I've planned things out and kind of have a game plan and strategy in mind, usually involving a lot of papers with, you know, my chicken scratch writing on them, or maybe a Microsoft Word document that outlines everything. But it is ready. It is all good to go. And hopefully in 2024, bigger and better and onwards. I really like a TV show that used to, I don't know what happened to it. It was called $1 Million Listing New York. And there was a realtor called Ryan Serhant. And his motto was expanding always in all ways. And I just really love that that little catchy phrase. So I'm not going to steal it because I don't want to get sued or nothing. But yeah, look for more and more fun content, and it should be a pretty fun 2024. But until then, still have a few days to chill and relax and take it a little bit easy. And until we meet again, it is the Viper who, with the Kameyuks, with their long-ass pokey sticks, that absolute, and I think I said tussled, which I don't think is the right word earlier on. I forget what the exact word is for this thing that goes on. Tasseled, maybe? I don't think tussled is the right. I think tussled means to like two people fighting or something. Something. You guys know my brain sometimes confuses words, but in any event, it is the Viper with the Kameyuks with the absolute question mark trap feint over here that manages to take the W in a pretty quick but pretty fun game. But as always, GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.